Today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different today. Racism in comic books. Yeah. So it's real. It's not uncommon, and it's received well by the fans, and that's a problem. And no one talks about the real, like, heroes. Dan Watters did an excellent job of Sword of Azrael. And oh my god, am I mad at, like, how the system has not used, like, the real message of these kinds of characters. He is a white character, incel, grew up, became Batman, and then took on the mantle, and no one gives a shit. And that's, ooh, he's the best, and that's exactly why I'm torn, because I love comic books so much. This comic book is so good. Oh my god, he's amazing. This anime style, wow. I wouldn't have even read this if Dan Watters hadn't did an excellent job on in Justice League Odyssey. And yeah, he's a white boy with a flaming sword, and he gets betrayed by a woman, and no one gives a shit. And then he finds out his secrets, and then he beats up the biggest guy there is, and it's all on him, and no one cares about him because he's not Batman. He's just a normal guy doing the right thing in a way. Oh my god, it was a great comic book. And no one gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck about my boy. And I don't think people understand comic books in general. They're not high art. They never were. They were ideas on paper, and they never hit or miss. Some of them were better than others. Some of them were really bad. Some of them were really good. It didn't matter. It was just like who you trusted in writing. And when they brought Batman onto a story, you trusted it. And when you have Lobo in a story, you trust it. And when you read a comic book where this is the cover and that's not what's in the comic, you don't trust it anymore, you know? Or a good story that carries on, and you're like, where's the next part? And it doesn't continue. Because these stories are limited. These stories are in a vacuum. They're someone's opportunity to tell an idea. So, like, Keith Slifer Griffin, he had a good idea with Lobo, but you don't see white supremacists picking up Lobo because he doesn't kill anybody because of their race. He killed his own race. That's like the ultimate form of pride, the truest form of you can't fuck with me because I'll fuck you up. That was Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance's ideology. You want to be the guy who no one can fuck with, and that's why Armstrong at the end is like, you fell right into it. You are my ideal. So the white supremacist not adopting Azrael is because Azrael's fucking crazy, and the reality is everyone shits on him because of these stories, but they didn't read these stories. They just hear that, the cowl was so bad. But if they actually read it, they would realize, oh wow, these stories are about like a secret cult of Christian whatever, that cabal, that's the Crusaders, which is really just the Templars from Assassin's Creed, which is a fucking great story that shat itself. And then you have the fall of Saint Dumas and the rise and all this stuff, and you go on and it keeps going, and you just want like good stories. You just want to read something that's interesting and fun, memorable, and keeps you entertained. So Spawn, without Spawn, there would be no Azrael. It was ultimate 90s. It was, and then you have She-Hulk. I watched that show to the end, hoping there'd be a twist because that was like the gimmick. Oh man, it's just like the comic books. There'd be a fourth wall break. They didn't even try. They just put themselves in the show and ended it. So, yeah, I want to talk about comic books. I want to talk about how good they are. But this is it. This is all I have to say. I have a million comic books that I can say, yeah, this one's good. Yeah, this one's good. I really like this one for that. Oh boy, that's amazing. And then what? That's the end of the conversation. So I'm not really like, I guess a fucking comic book guy for YouTube. But I have opinions on where people feel, oh yeah, this is race bended and swapped for bad. Yeah, absolutely. There are definitely times where it feels like, oh, my favorite character, Starfire, doesn't look like Starfire anymore. I'm mad as hell. But then, of course, I have to go, maybe I just won't watch it. Maybe I'll do something else. Maybe, Star Wars is not for me anymore. I like The Mandalorian. We're not watching The Mandalorian anymore because it's not the same show after season 2. It's true. It's how it is.